Welcome to another live show of Ask VT. So I'm Stephen Box, and tonight I'm joined with Mark Reed. How you doing, Mark?
Very fine, thank you very much. Yourself?
Yeah, mate. Very good, thank you. Very, very good. So what I'm going to do is just head over and send some links out so we can get some, obviously, our Patreons and everyone else that subscribes over to the video. So we've already got some people watching. Mark, what are we talking about on today's show, mate?
Today's show is going to be a review of your sterling performance, spoiler, at the Games Workshop Warhammer World GT Finals. Are you ready to tell everybody all the gossip and the inside track?
Well, mate, I'll do my best, I'll do my best. I'm not making any promises.
Our Patreons and everyone else that subscribes
over to the video. So we've already got some people watching. So what's first then, Mark?
First thing is, I see that you've borrowed somebody else's house, and that your internet is about 20 times better than usual.
Yeah, I'm at Jack's.
Excellent.
I am at Jack's, yeah.
Okay, super.
But Jack's not here. He's sacked me off today.
Well, I don't blame him.
Yeah. Oh well.
So the question is, what are you painting at the minute? What armies are you churning out for VT? What's coming next on the channel?
So what have I been up to? I've actually been painting Jack's army. Been doing a lot of Jack's army actually, which is orcs. And this is what we've got. It's actually right here. Been getting the old airbrush out. Been practicing with the old weathering. So did some of the old airbrush techniques on the old truck here. So I've got another. For this is Jack's Speed Freaks army, so I've got 2 more trucks to do and then 2 battle wagons. So pretty happy with how this turned out. And then we also smashed through just so many boys. So yeah, we've just been doing boys for Jack. And then personally, I have been working on the old AdMech.
Oh, great. Yeah.
What about yourself, Mark?
Still pushing through with the Space Wolves.
Yeah.
So this week's been a building week. Next to me, I've got more items built. I've got Aggressors, Longfangs, Wolfen, Redemptor Dread, some HQs, some Reavers, some Intercessors, and then I'm going to have to start the slog of painting them tonight. As soon as this video is finished, undercoating is my next priority.
Mate, we need to get you an airbrush.
Yeah, I know. I'm up for that.
We need to get you... Yeah, an airbrush, because it just, as you saw the other night, it just speeds it up so much, doesn't it?
Yeah, so on the Saturday of, was it Saturday just gone?
Yeah.
It was. Steve and I went to Jack's house, I played a game against Jack, and Steve brought his airbrush, and we got through a lot of painting of the orcs together, and we got through a ridiculous amount in a ridiculously short time. I was totally bowled over by the speed and how cool the airbrushes as well, so definitely on my list over the next couple of months to pick one up.
Yeah, and do you know what? It's really not there's some pretty basic kits out there that really do the job. Like, I thought, I'm going to need like a £200 airbrush and all this. You don't. You can get literally like a 65 quid job from eBay, comes with the hose, the compressor, it comes with an airbrush. You're good to go. The airbrush is actually decent. I find myself using that airbrush more than I do the more expensive one that I've got anyway. And then you just need some like cleaning agents, some thinners, and you just use regular GW paints or Tamiya paints. You're good to go. And then just watch some YouTube tutorials. And the man to watch is Andy Wardle, who's a great friend of mine from Cult of Paint. He's been giving me loads of lessons, so go and check him out on Instagram if you haven't done so already. You'll be amazed by his painting. Like, he's a Golden Demon winner, absolutely fantastic. And I'm trying to convince him to do a tutorial for our Patreons. So that should hopefully be coming up over the next month. He's flying over to Adepticon as we speak. So basically, when he gets some time, I'll try and get him to do a bit of a sort of introductory lesson to airbrushing or whatever it might be. Obviously for our Patreons. And also, speaking of which, we have got so many questions from our Patreons. And also what you can do, if you would like to send us in a question, you can head over to our emails or our email list, which is www.vanguardtactics.com, and you'll just see a little thing say sign up for our newsletter. I try to give out like weekly tips, and then some other bits and bobs. We send you, like, as soon as you sign up, we give you like the night cheat sheet that I've spoke about before, a Deathwatch list. What else have I put on there now? Because I've updated the email series, you see, so we've got some really cool content. You also get my exclusive video on how to beat Knights, which is our series called Better the Meta for our Patreons, so you get access to that, and there's some other bits and bobs as well. So it's all free content. Go sign up on the old email list, and then if you would like to become a Patreon, the option is there.
Yeah, so if you're on the email list, you can send us an email with any questions you've got for future shows.
Yeah, and actually I send you a link to like a thread, and then what you can do is basically add it to your thread. So you might be like, sat at work or something being like, oh, do you know what, maybe you read something about the new Chaos Vigilus or something, you think, I wouldn't mind VT's opinion on that. Find that thread, I put the links in the email, and you can go and send it on over. So, and then what I'm going to do on that thread is basically I'll give every single question a heart that we answer on these lives, so that we know that they've been answered at some point. So you can check back and then watch the relevant Ask VTs to obviously, make sure you're staying abreast with all the great information from myself and Mark.
Excellent.
I think the chat is going mental, by the way.
I've got a question for the chat.
Yeah, go on.
Before we get started, my question for the chat is this. Can you tell us, please, what you would like us to cover in the next or the coming Ask VTs? So tonight we're going to do go over Steve's GT experience, but we did the Soup before, and we did the Orcs as well. The Orcs has been good. I actually played the Orcs list on Saturday, and it's brutal. Jack's come up with a brilliant Speed Freaks list. Again, that list's over on Patreon if you want to go over there and check it out. So, what do you want next, guys? Put it in the chat and let us know.
Yeah, love it. Yeah, what do you want to know next? We've got all the boys are watching. We've got Chris Wilson, he's watching. We've got Sam Hill, Robert, Michelle, or Michael. Ian James wants Chaos. We've got Cy Mini, how you doing? Christopher Smalley, how you doing? Chris, got some questions for you, or I know that I've got your questions written down. Robert Mallet, Alexander, can you post which airbrush you've got off eBay? I'll post that in Patreon. I need to actually do a little video of my setup. That could be quite good. Like, basically, it'll be like airbrushing for beginners. At a super low cost. So, because that's at the end of the day, if I can help you guys get models to the table quicker, more efficiently and cheaper, then brilliant. Because you save money on paint as well that you don't realise, because you hardly use any. So what we got here, a Blaze and how good Chaos are going to be. I think, mate, Chaos is, dealing with Gene Stealer Cult. Well, got a, something to help you there. Basically, I did an interview with the one and only In Control Robinson. So Jeff, myself and Jeff played at the LGT last year, became sort of really good friends over the table, and we've stayed in touch ever since. And I interviewed him on Tuesday. It wasn't live just because we had some issues with getting it done, but we got it recorded, and what I'm going to do is get it edited tonight, so you guys at the weekend are going to have a Gene Stealer Cult overview, top units, how to play them, deployment, absolutely everything from the main man himself, who there's, in my opinion, not many people better than Jeff. One is a gamer, and also as with Gene Stealer Cult. So, and Jeff, just to give you guys a bit of a background, he is part of the GW balancing team, so he's a playtester for the game, and I'll be honest, the game is in very safe hands if he is doing it, because I've got so much respect for him as a gamer, and it was a really, really cracking interview, so I'm sure you guys will really enjoy that over the weekend.
So if Jeff also, you can find him on the Chapter Tactics podcast. He's also sponsored by Frontline Gaming. I think that he was top in the ITC last year for Custodes. And he was waiting for the GFC stuff to drop. what a player he is. So it was a brilliant scoop for Steve to get this interview. If you want to know about GSC, how to play him and how to play against him, then that'll come out soon, and have a look at that.
And guys, just on that topic as well, if there's anyone you would like me to interview, let me know. Put it in the chat now, or in the comments if you're watching back. Who do you want me to interview as our next sort of spotlight interview? Who do you want me to put in the hot seat? Hopefully my interviewing skills are good, and I can really sort of decipher down all the sort of minutiae, because obviously when you're speaking to someone that really knows their stuff, it can be hard to not get overwhelmed. So hopefully I break it down well. But if there's anyone you would like me to interview, pop it in the chat, and I'll get them on here. I'll do it. I'll bully them until they come up.
Nicely.
Obviously.
Yeah, of course,
just some nice threats,
Yeah.
We've got some. We've got someone said Simon Pridis. What do I think of Simon's towel list? Yeah, can get Simon on, talk to him about his towel list. Maybe that could be good. Obviously, we'll go on to basically Simon won the Warhammer World Finals. Have another chat with the guys from D6 Evolution. Yeah, nice, definitely. I know it's probably a pain, but could you interview Lawrence from Tabletop Tactics and maybe film a battle report? Well, maybe I can do that.
Yeah.
I will speak to Lawrence and see if we can get that arranged. Alex Harrison or Brandon Grant, definitely do those. Yeah. I know Alex well. Brandon, I'm not sure of, but I'll get to know him and I'll get him on. So if there's anyone else, guys, keep putting them in the chat. It's all good stuff. Someone's already disliked this video. Great.
Yeah. Standard.
Honestly, people these days. Someone wants Bone from Tabletop Tactics.
Legend.
We've got a really good question here from Ash. Ask Boxy to do a video on how to roll dice. Asking for a friend that just rolls ones.
Yeah. Think that I'll do that video.
Mark can do that video.
Yeah.
A tactical video on how to roll dice.
Exciting news the other day came from Stephen that we had an image through of the first Vanguard Tactics dice that's been produced.
Yes!
It had a lovely picture on the top, and I said to Stephen, "Is that the 6?" He went, "Yes." I went, "Well, that's the last time you see it, so make the most of it. I'll roll them regular."
Yeah, not happy with that. Obviously dice coming soon. Also, for our Patreons, we've just put out the announcement that we're doing kit. So the Vanguard Tactic kit is now available to order through our Patreon page. So you can find all the information there. If you do want to get some stash, it is only available to Patrons at the moment, just because we won't be able to deal with the demand if we went completely public with it. So we have to keep these. But obviously, if you guys are watching and listening, you would like some, then go head over to our emails, www.vanguardtactics.com, and then you can obviously find all the links you need to do that in. Sam Hills wants some dice. Somebody else, I think Lawrence is going to be a popular. His name's coming up quite a lot. Me and Lawrence did actually speak about hopefully getting a game in soon. So whether that'll be on his channel or our channel, whoever knows. But all good. And obviously, if you do ever want to see the game in which I played Lawrence from the last time at the GW Heat, that was streamed by Warhammer World, wasn't it, Mark? And that is still on their Twitch. So if you go and find them, you can find the game Me versus Lawrence. Deathwatch
versus Eldari.
Oh man, they didn't know what was even happening on the stream.
I feel his pain.
Yeah, that was like the first time Deathwatch were like, what? What do they do? And I was like, yeah, all kinds of shenanigans. Anyway, Cameron has just joined the chat. Me and Cameron played at.
Oh, excellent.
So he's interested to know about our game. So I'm going to tell Cameron exactly what I think of our game. I'm not going to do any spoilers yet.
Okay.
And Alex has said 16mm dice, please. Yes, they are 16mm, son. Don't you worry. Right, Mark, where are we at then?
So we are now going into the main meat of the show. So I would like to start by saying, talk me through your preparation for the GT before you got there, before you played first game.
So preparation. Obviously, I've been using this. So at what point?
So basically, building up. Did you play any games with that list? Did you feel confident you prepared well? To go into it, or could you have done better?
Yeah. So essentially, I've been playing this list since the last heat in December. I took it to multiple tournaments. I took it to Belgium, the team tournament with a slight variation. Obviously, I've been using it on the channel. You and I did a battle report. That will be out next week, won't it? That I took to Battlefield Birmingham. I took it to Greetings from the Warp. And then I took it to Battlefield Birmingham as well. And I was really happy with my performance at Battlefield Birmingham. I went 4-1 there in a very competitive field. So I was like, look, it's 1750. All I did was I took my list, trimmed it down a smidge, and then rolled with what I know.
Right.
Yeah. So essentially, the list is, to give you a run through, Watchmaster, who was the Warlord, Watch Captain with a jump pack and redeploy Relic Blade, Stormbolter. He's just there to redeploy something. Then 3 units of 9 veterans. I had 6 Storm Shields per squad, all with Stormbolters. I have 1 Terminator in the squad. I have a Bike in the squad, and I also have with a Teleport Homer, and then also have a Vanguard veteran. Obviously, got to support the old Vanguard. He's got to be in. He's got to be in the team. He's made the cut. First 11. So then 3 veteran squads like that. And then I had 3 units of infantry. The not so loyal 32 for me. Died too quickly. A company commander, and then also a tank commander. And that was all Catachan.
Okay.
And obviously the main boy, the big knight himself. So I ran the Crass Knight. I took my cheat sheet along with me. So I was like, right, okay, I know whatever I play, I know what I'm taking. Don't need to think about that. And then the other thing I had was 85 points left for a cheeky insert assassin. And do you know what? I've used all the assassins now, and I know the daddy of assassins. I'm kind of pretty sure now.
Well, we'll talk through that through your games if you want. Why did you take the Catachans?
So the it's Cadia versus Catachan debate, okay? This is why I like Catachan. I'm only taking Catachan, or I'm only taking the Guard for CPs, so it doesn't matter what I take. So the only benefit I get from taking Catachan, or Cadia get to reroll 1s if they stand still, and then you order yourself normally to reroll the amount of dice, right? On your shots, on your battle cannon. Catachan get that automatically. They don't need to stand still to do that, which is absolutely brilliant. So then you can always order yourself to reroll 1s, or what I do, which is my favourite order, which not many people use, is pop smoke after you fire. And I found that what I do is, look, yeah, you might be able to get a couple more hits re-rolling them 1s, but typically, in my experience, when I roll a 1, it normally re-rolls into another 1. So I'm better off popping smoke and keeping my tank commander alive, because when you start to, put other people on a -1 to hit, all of a sudden he's really, really survivable. So that's my top tip, guys. Catachan, and I had the conversation today with one of our guys on the old Patreonage. He said, look, what do I recommend? And I said, Catachan's the way forward. And, when you're running 3 of those, shoot pop smoke every single time, and you will dominate.
Good tip, mate, good tip.
Well, but again, that's tried and tested, I was originally running Pask, because he hits on 2s, that was quite nice, and I thought, right, how else can I do this? So I went for Vestroyan, and then also, because they got a stratagem to get +1 to hit, which was nice, but Catachan is just a lot more reliable with the re-rolling the amount. So again, it's just, look, I'm taking a concept, refining it, reflecting, critically analysing what's working, what's not, changing it, tweaking it, making it better. And that's exactly what you've got to do if you want to be a good player.
Great stuff. So, could you tell us about your game 1?
So, just to give a quick backstory, Warhammer World was only the the Eternal War missions.
Okay.
Ash has made a good point. You can only obviously pop smoke once, so then you're on to your reroll ones. But just to keep that going, first turn is absolutely fantastic. So then what you've got, so Eternal War missions is essentially the 6 out of the chapter approved.
The newest chapter approved, is that 2018? Yeah.
Yeah. And then also the secondaries are in there as well. So you've got like your, like Linebreaker, First Strike, Slay the Warlord, and then, what else? That's pretty much it, and then just the Eternal War. So they're not very big scoring games, to be honest. Most of them are scoring at the end of the battle round. Yeah.
Okay, so game 1, who did you get?
So I played against a really great guy from Hellstorm Gaming. Dan, his name was. So I played Dan from Hellstorm Gaming, and he was running Dark Eldar. He had 2 of my not favourite models. The Void Raven Bomber, which just flies over my units and kills the entire squad of veterans pretty much. So he had 2 of those, maybe even 3 actually. He might have had 3. He then just had Venom spam. Yeah.
I think because you sent me a picture of that when you were in that game, if I remember correctly. He had 3 Void Ravens and 6 Venoms.
Yeah, it was 6 or 7 Venoms, yeah. So just a lot of poison shots. He had some squads of witches as well.
Okay.
Yeah. And it was the mission that... I can't even remember the mission now. Yeah, I can't remember the mission off the top of my head. Sorry, guys. I'm really sorry.
It's a couple of weeks back now, I suppose. So how did that game go for you?
Yeah, pretty well. I can definitely remember it was an objective scoring mission. I think there might have been 4 objectives on the board at the time. And yeah, it was absolutely brutal. Like, I was destroying him, he was destroying me. It was just absolutely killer. But yeah, I did. In that mission, I took the Colexus Assassin, by the way, guys. The one that messes around with... the Calidus. The one that messes around with CPs, and then can deep strike D6 plus 3 inches away. So yeah, that was what I took. Supplies from above game 1. Luckily Cameron's on the ball here.
Okay, so yeah.
Good. What on, Cameron? Good knowledge, mate. So yeah, I won that mission. Yeah. And it was pretty straightforward for me, really. I just kind of had a lot more firepower. I think I went first, got rid of one of his Void Raven bombers. I deployed quite well, redeployed a unit, Captain came down, my Assassin then came down and then killed a Succubus, then went on to kill another Succubus, then went on and killed the Archon. So literally, that Assassin killed three characters that game. Incredible. So, yeah. And my guard just did a great job of grabbing objectives on that game, and then the Deathwatch just pushed forward and just literally shot things, and I just kept my knight out of any harm's way, really. So yeah, it's good.
Very good.
Yep.
Okay, good. Off to a good start then. Playing against a good opponent.
Yep.
I remember you saying you enjoyed that game. It was a good game.
Yep. Me and Dan had a great game. Yeah, definitely.
Good stuff. So game 2, how did that go?
Dreadful.
Oh dear.
Yeah. So, turn up to the table, and I'll be honest, the terrain on my side was pretty bad. The only terrain piece I had was the landing pad, and that was it.
Yeah. And
unfortunately, the mission was even worse for me. It was pointy deployment, so pointy Dawn of War deployment. So you're within 18 inches of each other, and it was the mission in which it's the amount of models at this second battle round that basically controls the one objective in the middle. That is it.
Oh, the 4 pillars, is it?
No, it's the one with the bubble gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. And to top it off, there's no invulnerable saves in the middle 12 inches.
Oh, yeah, that's the one I was going to say. I was sure it was the one without the invulnerable save, which doesn't do you any favours when you've got a 3-up stone shield.
No.
So
I played against a guy called Henry. He had a Crass Knight. He had two Warglaves. He then also had a Primaris detachment of Crimson Fists. And his Warlord trait meant that every single one of his models counted as 2 for objective secured.
Ah, so okay.
So it just happened to be narrow the search, that's it, Cameron said. So unfortunately, he just deployed all his models out of a repulsor, so they were hidden turn 1. I did my best job I could. I ignored the knight, because that's a trap. Focused on getting rid of 10 Marines, which is essentially 20 Marines with his Warlord trait. And then his turn, because I had 0 cover, 0 line of sight blocking terrain on my side, he just then killed, and I pushed all 30 guardsmen in the middle because I had to get it, because I knew that then out of the repulsor would come all the Primaris, as they did, so he gets that 1 point. Now in this mission, it's absolutely massive because you're only going to get 1 point here, 1 point there, so you literally win it by line breaker or maybe getting first strike or something. So and I obviously couldn't put my Deathwatch anywhere near it because obviously they would just die straight away to the knight. So it just happened to be like all the stars were aligned that I would lose that mission. I didn't get any terrain. The mission is awful for me. And I was playing against an army which happened to double up. And that is the only real mission, if I'm honest. If I look at that Imperial Fist or Crimson Fist Warlord trait, it's the only mission in which that absolutely dominates, because all the others is kind of irrelevant. Because there's multiple objectives going on. But when there's just one, it just, for me, I don't really like it, if I'm honest. So I was hoping they would not use that one. They did, and I lost it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So at that point, you're 2 games in, won 1, lost 1.
Mm-hmm.
What was the final score of that game?
I think you won by a point or something.
I'm sure you remember saying it was 3-2 or something to your opponent. So an incredibly low scoring game.
Yeah.
Which, in comparison with like ETC when we're at Battlefield Birmingham, we're in the 40s.
Yeah, and the problem is as well, like I had complete board control, but you're not rewarded for that.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's just a bit of a shame, really.
Okay, never mind then. Get that one out of the way, and then move on to game 3. So, who did you face, and how did you get on?
So, played a game called against a guy called Dick from Holland or Netherlands, maybe.
That's the same place, yeah.
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 Yeah. Anyway, could have got that completely wrong, but somewhere in that area, Europe, of Europe. Anyway, he was playing Necrons. And he had, in his list, 3 of the flyers that basically pick a point and just do mortal wounds everywhere.
The flying croissants, those ones.
The croissants, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Maybe he was French.
Yeah, no, it wasn't French. He then had loads of immortals and then loads of destroyers as well.
Yeah.
So I went first, and I thought, right, we also had Imitech that spits out mortal wounds for fun. So, anyway, I go first. I put everything, on a flyer. Didn't even kill it. And he doesn't even have quantum shielding. I whiffed that bad.
10 wound flyer?
Yeah, toughness 6 or something.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Didn't go well. Turn 1. Turn 2 went even worse. He literally deleted an entire unit of veterans. I was like, oh dear. He then destroyed another unit of veterans, and I was like, this is not going well at all. But then I pulled out some of the old magic, didn't I?
Yeah.
Because I think Dick asked me at the end of the game, where did I go wrong? And I said, I think you got a bit aggressive. And it was the mission where you get points if you have your objectives. Sorry, it was like there's 3 objectives, right? So there's one in the middle worth 2, your opponent's is worth 3 to you, and yours is only worth 1 to you. So I'd castled up real nice, and I just basically defended mine. Cameron was playing next to me, and you could just see my face like, oh my, I didn't kill that flying croissant for like 3 turns. Anyway, but I just moved really well. When I brought my units in, I deployed them in such a way that his moving croissants would never be able to get in 24-inch range to do that mortal wound thing. Anyway, by the by, I deployed well, moved well, picked my targets very, very well, and Hazy got really aggressive. Dick got aggressive, that's it, Chris, you know it. He got aggressive, came forward, and then basically I just went in with the knight. And the knight just did a number. He was like chomping on units, blowing units off with the Avenger and the rapid fire battle cannons, all kinds of craziness. And then this was the play for me that won me the game. He had a unit of scarabs on his objective. Eversaw comes in. 3D 6-inch charge. I'm now in combat with his unit. I then kill him off his objective. Big 3 points to me. And then I just go and essentially kill everything apart from the planes, and then I think it's a max victory for me. So we basically math hammered out the rest the last couple of turns, and I table him. So yeah, good win for me.
Super, good job, mate.
Yeah.
I don't know what those flyers are called. I don't care. They're now the flying croissants. That'll do for me.
Yeah.
It's a good job. We've got Cameron in the chat telling us what the missions are as well. Well done, Cameron. Thanks, mate. Appreciate it.
Good job you're here, son.
Yeah. So that's day 1 complete. It's 2 wins and a minor loss. Sounded, unlucky. So you've then gone and rested, gone out for a bit of dinner.
Dinner was great. So went out with the guys from Tabletop Tactics. Mark Crumblehome was there. Simon Pridis was there, and then also Jamie, one of the organisers. So yeah, really, really good dinner. So yeah, it's good.
Cool. Awesome.
And some other top chaps as well. Like Dan was there. A guy called Alex from Bristol that played. Yeah, it was good. Really good crack.
Awesome. So, been a reasonable day, first day. Then you're on to day 2, game 4. Mm-hmm. I joined you for that one.
You did, mate.
I did. Came up to show you my support.
Yep.
Talk us through a beautiful army. Absolutely stunningly painted. Nice guy. Talk us through that one, would you, mate?
So I was up against a Laytok Eldar, and again, not another mission that I'm a fan of in this one. It was the one where basically you've got to give intel points to characters. It's really confusing because you get some turns they score here, some turns they score elsewhere. And he had basically a knight with a sword in board shield thing. So I was like, right, I need to go first because otherwise he's going to munch me with that knight if he gets too close. Went first. Didn't kill anything, did I? Didn't, just whiffed basically. Didn't do much. But my whole game was around keeping my characters on objectives, and that's basically what I did. And it came down to this match. It was quite close all the way. And there was a point in which I had Cameron's come in, cut off the head, this one's called.
Cameron, yeah.
There's a big centrepiece of terrain, and basically what I did was I brought 20 veterans down on it, with my captain, surrounded. And I basically put them over an inch away from the base of the terrain so that his knight couldn't charge me. Really good play, because if they're up against the edge, he can charge me and hit me. If I'm over an inch away, he can't. So good play there. So basically keeping his knight out of range. And he's got like 10 Dark Reapers in 3 units of 3. You have a unit of 5, a unit of 3, a unit of 3. So actually more than that. He's then all a Laytok -1 to hit. He's got an all-type reroll in all ones. Uses the Farseer reroll in all ones to wound with Doom and Jinx and all that kind of stuff. And then he had a Crimson Hunter Flyer as well. So, anyway, my captain is on the objective in the middle. I'm about to score big. His Farseer comes over to counter my play, so I charge him, right? I'm a Deathwatch captain here with a Relic Blade. And it came down to a 4-up save. This 4-up save that he made managed to pass his invulnerable save, which is okay, fine, he's got a 50-50 chance, and his Farseer's left with 1 wound left. And unfortunately, on the damage rolls, I rolled, if one of the dice would have been a 3 or a 4 or a 5 or a 6, that Farseer's dead. Unfortunately, I didn't roll a 1 or a 2, not good enough. So Farseer's left with 1 wound. So there's these 2 points now, where all I needed was a 4. Anyway, then it goes on to the next round. His Crimson Hunter flies over and parks next to my captain. And you were there, Mark, weren't you?
Yeah. I think just to go back a second, you'd used a CP reroll already.
To kill his Spirit Seer. Yeah.
You couldn't re-roll the dice for the wound score, otherwise you would have done.
Yeah, because I committed to killing one of his characters already with my knight in combat. So I had to do that anyway. So I could have done 2 characters in 2 turns, but anyway, in the same turn. But didn't go my way, those 2 rolls. Anyway, the next one, Crimson Hunter flies over, right? And I think he makes me save 2 dice. Pass 1, fail 1. And I think he's only got 3 wounds left. And so he's got a Bright Lance, D6 damage. And yeah, I'm like, right, okay, CP reroll. Failed it again. And then he rolls a 4 just to kill me, and I'm like, oh no, this has not gone well. So there was like 5 rolls of 4-ups. Any one of those, I win that game. But as they did, it ended up being a draw. So, it is what it is. Sometimes I go like that. But I did, in fairness, make a mistake in that game. And I was too aggressive with my first unit of veterans, and I pretty much gave them away. I should have kept them back in the sky, basically. And that's what I should have done. But, yeah, unfortunate. Yeah.
I obviously watched that game, and it ebbed and flowed quite a lot. It was very even. His Reapers did a lot of work. He was playing well with the, his reroll buffs and his Farseer and that sort of thing. It was a bold move as well to put his Farseer against the captain, and it sort of worked out for him. And it really ebbed and flowed. At one point, when you had your knight in his deployment zone, it looked like he'd sewn it up, but then the knight got killed, he pushed back, and it looked like he was going to win it. It was a great game, actually. It was a really tight game, but it shows you, I think it was 9 points each it finished up at the end. It shows you just how those Eternal War missions are low scoring, and with one major objective you're looking to score, it's really, I think what won it for him was probably his flyer got Linebreaker, if I remember correctly.
Well, that's what got him the draw, yeah.
Yeah, I got him a draw. If you had something, like that, you'd have been able to do it with.
Because if the game goes on to a 6th turn, and I kill his flyer with my tank commander, because he only had a few wounds left, and I think at this point all his Reapers were dead, all of his, I think a couple of Shuriken Cannon Walkers, and that was about it. Most of his Rangers were gone, so, and he had just this one Farseer with 1 wound left. So, yeah, if I kill that thing, he doesn't get Linebreaker, and again, that's another win, but it ended on turn 5. It is what it is. So, at this point, I'm on, 2 wins, a loss and a draw.
Yeah.
And then, I face Cameron.
And at this point, I go to Nando's.
You go to Nando's, and I'm facing Cameron.
Yeah.
So, Cameron has got a beautifully painted army. It is absolutely stunning. So Cameron, top work, mate. And Cameron was inspired, I think I'll use Cameron's word, he was inspired by my list. So in Cameron's list is 3 units of veterans, a Watchmaster, a Watch Captain with a jump pack, and then a Crass Knight, Loyal 32, and then the Tank Commander. And then the Assassin as well. So it's a mirror match. And Cameron decided to go first. Or I can't remember. Cameron, did I make you go first? Or did you choose to go first? I can't remember now. I can't remember who deployed what first. But either way, I wanted to go second. In this matchup, I want to go second. Because what I can do is going second is I can counter deploy and I can counter drop. So I just played really, really defensively against Cameron. Cameron tried to hit one of my flanks really hard with his veterans, moving up, redeploying them really aggressively turn 1 to try and basically eliminate one of my units of veterans. And he did it in trying to swoop round on one of my objectives. And he even brought his Eversaw in as well. His assassin, not his Calidus. Oh, that's it. I made him go first. Yeah. Sorry, mate. Essentially, there was one misplay here by Cameron, and he shot with his gun that doesn't need line of sight my guard, and unfortunately that made the Calidus's charge much longer, and he then failed it. So should have left them alone, because then he would have been able to get that charge off probably, and then kill everything in combat, and then he's on my objective, which is then causing me some trouble. So then what I did was I put my Calidus I deep strike my Calidus next to his Calidus, and I charge my Calidus in and kill his Calidus. So that was a nice little swap there. And I basically dropped my veterans in around where his veterans were, and then just sort of took them off the table, really. So again, I can see where he's dropped, and then I can counter drop and then shoot and all that kind of good stuff. And then I did a nice little play where I was kind of in my head thinking, well, with my knight, I could either be aggressive with him and push him forward to eliminate some guard, but then I know that his knight is going to move and charge my knight. And at this point, Cameron turn 1 fell for the trap, and that was to kill the Crass Knight. And we discussed this at the end of the game, but Cameron put everything in to try and kill my knight, and obviously I rotate Iron Shields, and it's hard to take him down, even with the Huntsman's Mark relic. So, whereas I put my knight and my tank commander on his veterans, because I know in this matchup the veterans are going to do the work.
Yeah.
And there was a point where I kind of just deployed my veteran squad just close enough to hopefully bait Cameron to think, I can get my knight to move and charge them. But because of the Storm Shield, the knight doesn't really do much to the veterans. But I had my knight just sort of behind, so I counter moved, put every single shot I had into the knight, charged the knight, and then because I strike first, and I'm doing D3 damage plus 2, I then kill his knight in combat. So, it was a really, really good game. And I've never played a mirror match before, so in regards to the Deathwatch. So it was really interesting to see how it played out. But Cameron was an amazing opponent, and we had an incredible game. And Cameron, thank you so much, mate, because hopefully we play again each other soon.
So it sounds like going second was really the key there.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
Yeah.
Or if you go first, you just leave the knight alone. That's what you have to do.
Yeah.
And then it's just a game of cat and mouse. Whoever is aggressive loses in that game. So it can end up being a bit of a stalemate. Yeah.
What was the mission?
Cameron, any ideas of the mission?
What was the objective of the mission? Can you remember?
I kill Cameron.
Okay.
He said, he's put, honestly, mate, one of the best games I played that weekend and learnt some valuable lessons from it. Nice. No, I love that. Also, I use my teleport homers really, really well. So I deploy my teleport homers really aggressively on my front line, so then I can just basically deploy out of range and out of line of sight, and then I move to them. So that's kind of what I like to do a lot.
Cool.
So hopefully it gave Cameron some tricks now to use with the Deathwatch.
Yeah, quality. Alright, getting beat is not brilliant, especially if you're a GT, but if you're playing a mirror match against the guy that built the list, and then, you get beat by it, and you get the opportunity to get some feedback, see how it's done, hopefully he'll take it on to other games and smash his opponent. So, yeah. Good luck to you, mate. I wish you all the best.
I've got so many reps in with that list, so yeah. I kind of know it inside out, not from my side, but then also knowing what it can do against me. It was 4 pillars, Cameron said. Yeah, nice. Nice little mission, that, to be fair. Because I think that's the one which hold more, kill more. Really nice mission, yeah. Good. So then we're on to game 6. And I'm working my way up the table now. I'm doing alright. And I'm up against a horrible, horrible list. It's basically Crass Knight, Shield Captain, then 2 Tank Commanders, Primaris Psyker, and then 3 of the Custodian heavy support flying tank shooting things. So it's like a 9 model army, basically. And yeah, it was such a great game. But in this matchup, I know that I have to go first. And I deployed, and I know that to take the knight down, my knight will do something to it, but the way you take down a knight with Deathwatch is the following. So what I did was I basically put every single... yeah, that's it. I was playing against Daniel, yeah. And Daniel was a super nice guy, very, very good gamer as well. And he plays for the London team. So yeah, the grav tanks, yeah. And essentially, I said to Daniel, right, I'm just going to go all in here. I put all my veterans within 30 inches of his knight. Put them in cover, so they were going to take some heat if he goes first. And he deployed first as well, so he's going first.
Wow.
But I just deployed aggressively because I thought, right, I need to stand still and I need to double tap on him if I'm going to do anything to that knight. And I need just to pray that my knight stays alive. Anyway, roll a 6 to seize.
Beautiful.
Oh, mate, I was buzzing. The only 6 I've rolled all tournament. So I seized and put the knight in, put the tank commander in. Then what I did was use 1 veteran squad because it was his warlord. 2 CPs, reroll all failed wounds against the against that target. So I'm wounding on 6s, but re-rolling 1s to 5s. So they did a few more wounds. And then, again, next squad, +1 to wound because it's a Lord of War. So wounding on 5s, re-rolling 1s because of the Deathwatch ability. And I put in 64 shots into him, or whatever it was, 68 shots, and took him down. So the Crass Knight's dead turn 1. So I'm feeling pretty comfortable at this point. And then, yeah, I just managed, from that point, he can't really touch my knight because I rotate Iron Shields and then my knight and my other boys just pick on a thing and delete it every turn. So it was actually it was my quickest game. But, yeah, it was just a bad matchup for him, I think. Yeah, so that was it. So in the end, I finished with 4 wins, a loss and a draw.
Jolly good.
Yeah, pretty happy with that.
So how did you feel about the missions? The Eternal War missions.
Oh, so shall I tell you where I came first?
Yeah, sure.
So I finished in 11th place, and I think I got 3 favourite game votes and 2 best army votes. I think something like that. So I finished in 11th place, which out of 4 heats of 100 man. You know, so essentially a 400-ish player tournament. Yeah, I was pretty happy with coming 11th, to be honest. And if it was just done on battle points, I think I'd come 9th.
5 heats, I think, actually. So I think it would, you potentially, if to have 120 players in the final, but obviously some people have been to multiple GTs and then one as well got through. You know, like you were talking about Tom Layton, I think. Progressed through 4 heats, so obviously we can't clone Tom, so he's obviously going to represent himself. So quite a lot of people there, best of the best really, because you needed top 20 to get through those heats and then to go to the finals as well. Very tough, very competitive. I saw some really interesting lists when I was walking around the hall, stuff that wasn't really very different to what we saw at Battlefield Birmingham. Battlefield Birmingham was more the meta lists. These seem to be built for those missions. I saw one list was brilliant. It was some Deathwatch, 3 packs of Wolfen, and I think like a night in there as well. You know, and that guy was like on one of the top tables on a Sunday morning when I was walking around. Really interesting lists of how they worked out, and he was playing Drakari against the 9 Talos and beat it as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, tough tournament, mate, and fantastic. Congratulations. I think I posted on. Well, you posted on Instagram that at the time, I think you were 9th, weren't you? Without just the pure tournament points, and then you add in all the best game votes and Painted Army, and then sort of came to 11th.
Yeah, and just quickly, Milo, who is I think the chairman of my local Bath club called Pigmar. So, guys, if you're ever in the area of Bath, join the Pigmar Facebook group, and I'm normally around on Tuesday nights for games. So, yeah.
Super.
Joe, join the Pigmar Wargaming Facebook group. If you're in the southwest area, then maybe we can get a game in or something.
So, reflection on the tournament then. Let's talk about the missions.
Yeah.
And let's talk about your list. Did you think you had the right list for those missions?
No.
What changes would you make, do you think?
My list can struggle with getting first strike. If the knight whiffs a little bit, it's going to struggle. I love my 2,000 point list where I just add that other tank commander in, but the guard don't really do much. They don't really help out. Because a lot of my veterans are in deep strike, it can struggle with getting first strike. Okay? And it can then struggle with getting line breaker because it doesn't have any flies in the list, and flies are just great at getting line breaker. And the reason why that's a problem, normally in ETC it's not a problem because they're such high scoring games. Like, I dominate on kill points with my list. I normally kill most things completely, and I also get board control. So, in these missions that don't reward, because they're so low scoring, and like you've got a mission where 4 pillars, they're real close to each other. It's kind of like, I feel like with some of these missions, they're very much middle board battles. The one where you've got to deploy one in the middle, one in yours, one in theirs, again, it's very central. So yeah, for me, my army's not suited towards it, really. So, because they're so low scoring, if I don't get first strike, that could be the difference between winning and losing, unfortunately. Because I'm not rewarded for killing more, and I'm not rewarded for board control. Whereas if there was Maelstrom cards or ITC, then I'm going to get those points. So for just straight out of the book, chapter approved, not amazing in my opinion at the moment.
What advice would you give to anybody that's going to one of the heats, or maybe even goes to the finals on their sort of list selection for those missions?
Yeah, so the other thing here as well is the terrain there. The terrain is beautiful, the boards are nice, but there's one thing to remember, is that a lot of other tournaments played bottom level of ruins with block line of sight, whereas at GW they don't do that. So, the problem there is if you've got squishy units like Guard, it only takes a stiff breeze and they're dead. So you can't really hide them very well. So, if I'm honest, because I rely on my moving tactics, late game sort of movements, then I need terrain to basically block that line of sight. So that's something to be aware of, okay? And that's not a criticism at all. That is just the way it is. That's just the way the tables are played. And there are some tables that do have some nice bigger bits, but you can't guarantee it on every single table, because what they don't do is format the tables like, big L shapes in the corners. Do you know what I mean? So, look, you need, fishing units out isn't really doing that. What you do need, though, is armies that are either hard to hit. So I think Elatok does well, because it's just very hard to hit naturally. Anything that doesn't rely on cover, like Eldar Plains. Eldar Plains can do a very, very good job in that meta because they don't care about cover. If you go second, 2 CPs, and you get prepared positions, and you don't need cover. And also, no one can hide from you either. So you just go wherever you want, get Linebreaker, get Warlord, because they can snipe characters well, and they're very good at getting first strike. So, gunlist armies tend to do very well, in my opinion, anyway.
So Elder Flyers, you're a Laytok, you're a flyer, so you -1 to hit. You're a Laytok, so you -1 to hit. You can put lightning fast reactions on it. You know, if you're targeted for -3 to hit, you can do prepared missions, like you said. I think they've got a regular 3-up save with like a 4-up invuln, is it, or a 5-up invuln? No, it's a 5-up for the Drakari ones. I'm not sure on the craft ones.
They get a feel no pain of 6-up the Hemlocks, but essentially, yeah, you just cannot rely on terrain. You need to have things that can score consistently. You need to be able to score First Strike, Line Breaker, Slay the Warlord, and you just don't want an army that relies on line of sight blocking, basically. And with that, then as well, because some of the terrain pieces you can't go through. Again, with big combat armies, they have to go round potentially. That could be a bit of a problem. So, yeah, I think really it is essentially big shooty armies are going to do well at that tournament. And also, the other thing as well, guys, is that you get awarded Best Painting and Best Sportsman. So, don't be
slack with your painting.
Yeah.
Be nice to everybody.
Be nice. That's what I was going to say, yeah. Make sure a nice guy. Don't be a... yeah. Because otherwise, unless you're bullying people and stuff to try and get them to give you favourite games, you're not going to do well.
Right.
So yeah, you need to have a nicely painted army and you need to be nice. Also, time can be a problem sometimes, so make sure you know the missions inside out. You shouldn't be there. Like, I made myself a cheat sheet, actually. So if you want, guys, if you are doing a heat, I'll put my cheat sheet up, and basically what it said was, look, in short note, this is the mission, so on what turn do you score? And then I made another cheat sheet, which I didn't show my opponent, obviously, which was, in this mission, you need to go second, or this mission, you need to go first. Because then, based on the mission, you've already got a priority, unless then the army dictates you need to go first against it, because if it's going to just kill you straight away. So I'll give you that cheat sheet. I'll put that in tomorrow, actually. So I'll give you the cheat sheet for all the missions and the cheat sheet for what I took there as a sort of guide to whether you should go first or second in that matchup.
Where could somebody go to find that then, right?
So literally the best thing you can do is head over to www.vanguardtactics.com, and then there is a link there at the bottom of our email, and you can find that, and it will just be one of the posts, okay?
Right, yeah.
And I'll make it freely available on the old Patreon so anyone can view that. All right?
Excellent.
As I'm a nice guy.
Indeed. So, any other thoughts, or do you want to move on to the questions?
No, I think... But I will say, I came away from that, and all I wanted to do was book another ticket to go again. I had a great time. I had a great time with Lawrence and the guys from Tabletop Tactics, hanging out with Bone and Chef and those guys, great fun. With Simon Pridis, who won, and congratulations to Simon. With Mark Crumbleholm, who's a good friend and played Mark many a times. We had an absolutely wicked time. The event was fantastic. Jamie, the Colonel, who run the event, did an outstanding job. Like, literally, I can't... Credit where credit's due to GW. Everything ran so smoothly. So, and I know that they're already putting some things in place to improve the tournament. That's all they want to do, is they're listening to feedback. Like, I sat down with Jamie and I gave him some feedback on certain things about like time length and things that they could do and stuff like that. And, he was like, oh, all good ideas and stuff like that to make sure games go to, the full turns and stuff. So, everything was handled so well. And they just want to make it a good, competitive, fair environment, which is exactly what we all want. So, guys, if you're thinking about it, get a ticket and go. And on that, there are some really cool tournaments coming up, isn't there, Mark?
Sure is.
So, guys, there is the Glasshammer event, which is... What date, Mark?
St George's Champion, it's called. So if you go to Facebook and then put in St George's Champion, that's the name of it.
I'm going to email everybody tomorrow with a link to it.
Okay.
So if you want to get tickets to that event, it's at Wolverhampton University, I know the Glasshammer guys, obviously they sponsor this channel, but the guys there run a great tournament. I went to the Glasshammer Open. The terrain looks great. It's very, very functional. It's a combination of book missions and ITC. So you've got Eternal War first missions and then ITC secondary. So it's a really cool, I've never seen this done before. And I gave the guys loads of feedback from the last time, and I know they've been putting that in place. Unfortunately, I can't go because I'm moving house, but I'll be emailing everyone tomorrow with that link. And then there's another event as well from Greetings from the Warp. That the whole Vanguard Tactics team are going to, and that's in June, isn't it?
Yeah, so just to go back to the Glasshammer one, I believe it's the 27th and 28th of April.
Yeah.
And it's in Telford, but it's the Wolverhampton University Telford campus.
Yeah.
So you can stay over there as well. Go on the Glasshammer page, all the stuff's on there. You can search it on Facebook.
Well, tomorrow I'm going to email everybody. So if you go to www.vanguardtactics.com, I'll email everybody all the links. I've got the mission pack ready to go for you, all the details, absolutely everything, how to buy your tickets, all in one place. So you can already read the mission pack before you buy, so you make sure it's right for you.
Okay, so then the Greetings from the Warp. If you go again onto Facebook and type in Greetings from the Warp, join the group. There's about 1,000 people in there. They're really, really good guys, and it's a fantastic event. You and I have both been to the last two, really enjoyed it. Looking forward to the third one. That is in Earthlingborough, which is in the East Midlands, Northamptonshire.
Yeah.
5 games, 2 days. ITC, you get ITC points there. Simon Prittis was there last time and won it with his Orcs, I believe.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly. I think it's about 35 quid a ticket. We're going to go there, enjoy that. Look forward to that. I can't remember when it is in June, but if you check that out, you'll soon find out. Get yourself a ticket for that.
Yeah. That terrain there is beautiful. And we did a roundup, didn't we? So if you watched our watch one of our Ask VTs before, Greetings from the Warp, you'll see the terrain. I put up pictures. 22nd and 23rd of June. We'll be there. Anyway. So what's next then, Mark?
There's actually another event that we're looking at possibly going to, which is the Majority T3 in Newcastle.
Yeah.
Which I believe is, I think it's the end of the year.
Yeah, we'll talk about that maybe on the next one when we know.
Yeah. Okay.
When we know the details about it.
Get some details for that and then go through that. Okay. Questions.
Right. So, shall I just run these through?
Go for it.
So Gabe is asked, after LVO having a Castellan in 8 at the top 10 lists, was it the same at Warhammer World? The fear is that the Castellan is game-breaking. What are your thoughts about players using a knight as a Swiss army knife to fix issues that their army might have? So, on this one, I don't know if that was Jack at the door. Anyway, I was just listening. Sorry if I went quiet then. I've locked him out of his own house, basically. The Castellan, I didn't really see it that much at GW, actually. Didn't really see it there. There's a lot of a lot of Eldar heavy lists, I would say. But yeah, it wasn't really there that much. But going back to the main point, I think he's going to get a nerf anyway. I don't think there's a problem with, at the end of the day, that's exactly what allies do. Allies do exactly that. They are there to plug gaps where your army's weak. And until you can either love it, as it has that tactical flexibility, or hate it because it doesn't suit the fluff and things like that. Like maybe if you want to run a pure Steel Legion army, run it. If that's what does it for you. But you can't hate on people that do allies, soups and all that kind of stuff, because it is just the game. So yeah.
Can I comment on that one?
Yeah, cool.
Got some thoughts on that. As you know, I've been spending a bit of time with the Space Wolves Codex and playing a few games with them, putting some of the pictures up on Instagram. Really enjoying playing with them at the minute. And obviously I've been used to playing Drukhari for the past 12 months. I absolutely love the 3 Ravagers in the Archon. So many shots, all disintegrated cannons, 27 shots a round. You get a lot of mileage out there, does a lot of damage. I've got Razor Wings in there if I need it, Talos, etc, etc. Looking at the Codex for Space Wolves, they just don't have a lot of DACA. So in a pure Space Wolves list, and that's what I'm painting up at the minute, I'm looking at Long Fangs, with like a Wolf Guard pack leader in there with a Storm Shield to try and protect, those guys. I'm looking at Redemptors, Dreadnoughts. I'm looking at possibly even a Whirlwind for the shots where you don't need line of sight for, that sort of thing. There's not a lot. So a Knight at 500 points is the answer for me. A Crusader, even if it gets a nerf, and you can't rotate Iron Shields, you can't get the three up in front, I'd still take one, because for 498 points, that's way more DACA than I can get with the Redemptor. I played Redemptor the other night. No invuln is a struggle for it, but loads of really good shots. So I can totally understand where Imperial armies really need to slot that in.
Yeah, and like GW at the moment, with these Vigilist attachments, they're really adding a lot more. So, guys, it's not probably going to be long until you can start to... And I think, I've got a feeling they're going to start really rewarding, like, same faction stuff with these detachments. That's one way of doing it. Look at what they did with Genestealer Cult. If you bring in Imperial Guard, you only get half the CPs. Interesting. So, look, let's leave it to the guys at GW. They know what they're doing, And I think we're going to start to see some of these armies that might not have been that competitive at the beginning. They're going to get stronger. Look at Chaos now. I can't wait to get Vigilist book on Saturday and read that through. So yeah. Anyway, I think that's that one done. Chris Wilson said, "What was terrain like? Advantages for shooting versus close combat?" I think I've kind of covered that, haven't I? That mainly it was kind of not much line of sight blocking. Ian James has said, how competitive do you think Chaos will be? And by the way, all of these questions I'm reading from are from our Patreon. And I actually have an FAQ page that is open forum for anyone that wants to join that, which again you can head to. I send you the link for our email, which is on our website. So you can just join there if you want to get on this list, and I'll basically get to your questions, or will get to your questions on our next live. So James has asked, how competitive do you think Chaos will be now with all the new releases? Oh my god, they are going to be so good. I'm cooking up some filthy lists in my head already.
The Obliterator's looking very tasty.
See, yeah, they are, but I'm not thinking that. I think that's too obvious.
Okay.
Here's a sneak peek of a combo, and I'll put the list in next week. I'll put the list on the old Patreon again, right? Khitan. Now, I'm hoping... Oh, look, I'm going off rumours at the moment. I could be wrong on some of this stuff, but if I am, whatever. If I'm right, then I'm in. The Khitan is like the combat version of a knight for Khorne, okay? So you can put him in a detachment with the ability then, I don't know what it's called or anything like that, but basically I give him +2 movement, so he's moving 14, because he's a demon engine, I believe. He then advances 2d6 inches. Then I've got a stratagem now to advance and charge. So
Nice.
I've got a 14-inch moving, 7 on average inch advancing Khitan that now advances and charges in the same turn. And he's got like a Gatling gun with like 8 shots, strength 8, -2, 2 damage. He hits, he gets 5 attacks. He gets 3 attacks for every attack, so he's up to like 15 attacks. His strength diminishes a little bit, and so did his movement, but by that point you're already there anyway. You can then obviously maybe cast prayers on him, perhaps. I don't know how they're going to work, make him -1 to hit, perhaps. The other big, lovely spider lord thing, someone probably in the chat knows the name, I don't, but... What?
Venom Crawler?
No, not that thing. It's a new, character on...
Oh, yes, on the horseback thing that look like look like the wraiths from Lord of the Rings.
No, like it's on like a big spider thing.
Cavalry unit, yeah?
No.
No?
It's riding something, but it's like a massive... Someone in the chat, tell us what the bloody name is.
Oh, okay.
It's huge. It's like a big warp smith on a big, like... I put it on our Instagram page, mate. That big thing.
Yes, yeah, we're talking about the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, so... like Lord of the Rings. He's on a horse. Yeah.
We're not Chaos players, you can tell, can't you?
Anyway. Oh, I'm well into the lore, me. You know me. Anyway, and he can, like, give +1 to hit, things. Oh, Lord Discordant. That's what it. Well done, Alex. Good man. He's in there. So yeah, there's so many ways to buff that up. They've also got a stratagem now where Chaos can shoot you in your first turn. Love that. So they got some tasty stuff. Anyway, moving on. So I've got some cool things coming up in the pipeline. Do you think there'll be a meaningful change to allies coming out in either the FAQ this year? What are the top units to always be prepared for from the top army combinations? This is from one of our guys on our mentorship. So I think I've kind of already talked about the allies thing. So I'll move on to some of the top units. Maybe I'll tell you what, Mark. I'll pick one. You pick one. Okay. Shining Spears. Yanari.
A Dark Eldar, I'm going to go for Ravagers.
Yeah, 3 Ravagers and an Archon, yeah. Which a reroll hits the 1 to hit and wound. Harlequin, Haywire, Bikes.
Very good, yeah. I'm going to go Custodes, Shield Captains.
Yeah, nice.
Or Bikers as a whole, yeah.
Castellans, Knights, Crass Knights, Crusaders, yeah. 25 Looters.
Yeah.
10 Dark Reapers.
Here's one for you. Wolfen.
Oh. Right, moving on. Gene Stealer, Cult Aberrants. Gene Stealers. Yeah.
Anything that's next to Call in AdMech.
And then, yeah.
Yeah.
Wait for my new list coming out that I'm running tomorrow. I'm playing Jack. Although I've already agreed with Jack, and I don't know. We were like, the thing is, if I'm playing Jack's Tale tomorrow. The list I've written, if I go first, I'm just going to table him in a turn. So it's not going to make a very interesting battle report.
Make a fast battle report, be very easy for editing.
5-minute job, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to save that list for a tournament, and I'm just going to whip it out.
Okay.
People will be like, sorry, it does what? I'll be like, yeah, you just take your models off, son. Put a smile on your face while you're at it.
Yeah.
What else have we got here? So, that's a few ideas for you. A Redemptor or equivalent with medium range Dakka. How do you keep it alive for more than a turn or two? So with the Redemptor, the best thing to do is probably keep it on the shelf for a while. It's going to stay. No one can shoot at it then.
Mate, it's when you're a Wolves player, you've not got many options. The Redemptor's the best. So double Gatling cannon. You've got the heavy onslaught Gatling cannon, and you've got the other Gatling cannon.
But how do you keep it alive, Mark? It will just die.
It doesn't. Well, it depends who you play. So I played Tyre against it. It got mutilated. But then I played Death Guard, and it managed to survive.
Yeah, you play maybe like Demons or something. It'll be alright, but anything with a gun is just going to nuke it.
Unfortunately, it's toughness 7. It's got, I think, 13 wounds. No invuln kills it.
Yeah, right. So this is what you need to do. Might of Heroes, make it toughness 8. But I just don't know why you don't swap it for Leviathan. It does everything that does, but better. It's got a 4-up invuln save and already toughness 8. Might of Heroes, toughness 9. I think it's got a 2-up save, stick it in cover, now it's on a 1-up, keep it partly obscured, obviously. Leviathan all the way. So, unfortunately, I'd love to see him play, but they're just not that competitive. But I've given you, at least Mighty Heroes is a way to hopefully answer your question. And then, obviously, keep it in cover, make sure it's touching, 50%, move well, keep it out of line of sight turn 1, then move it, take the hit that you're not going to you're not going to be hitting on 3s, you'll be hitting on 4s, but at least it'll be alive and do something. So, Martin's asked, that was Martin's question. Do you think a big change to Space Marines is coming following the release of Shadow Spear and the new Chaos Codex? If so, what would you like to see change to Space Marines that could shift up the meta? I want chapter tactics on vehicles personally, and would like to see that change that also affects alternate Codex Space Marines like Grey Knights, Dark Angels, etc. I would like to see that on vehicles, but I don't think it's going to happen based on the fact that the Chaos stuff hasn't got it. So I can't see it happening personally. unless it comes out in the FAQ, which they might be waiting for, because we don't know when these books were written. So they could have been working on these books as soon as the first one's dropped, and it might only be now the community saying, look, why don't Land Raiders get -1 to hit from Raven Guard or whatever. So it might be in the big FAQ, and that's what they might be waiting for. So there's still hope yet.
You look at Latop, their flyers get -1, don't they? So
yeah.
It's a craft world ability as opposed to just for troops or anything like that.
Yeah, but some of these new units, it'd be interesting to see what happens when they get a book. So, can you take a unit of 6 of the sniper guys? Because at the minute it's only 3, I think, from the book. I've got it here, actually. I think it's only 3 you get. So, but some of the things you can't deep strike within 12 is nice.
Yeah, it's really nice, yeah.
Matthew said, so which was your favourite assassin? Oh, easy. Calidus. She is incredible. Not only you messing around with people's CPs, but you can't get invulnerable saves against her, I don't think. She's got loads of attacks, comes in nice and close. It makes people screen really tight because they know she could be in within 4 inches. She's great at killing characters. The Vindicare's too unreliable, unless you've got 3 of them. Or a lot of other sniper units. Because the Calidus has got multi-damage, it's quite effective. The Eversaw's okay, but is only really good against Horde, and that's about it. The Calexis is useful, but only in a couple of matchups. And only if you need to protect against Doom and Jinx, for example. But they can just play around it. And they could still cast well anyway, so, yeah. I think the Calidus is my go-to every time. Which was why I only spent time actually painting up that one properly. The rest I just did a quick coat on. So back to the Marines question.
To have a pop at that one myself, I don't think the release is finished yet. No. So I think that you've got the Shadow Spear stuff coming out. I expect some sort of melee unit to come out at some point in the future. At the minute, the best things, the Reavers. You've got 10 Reavers, you can get at least 40 attacks on the charge. You've got those grenades and stuff that if you are within 6, you don't have to face Overwatch. But I think it's just, in my opinion, the releases and the rules are just, there's a little bit at a time. They're not going, here's a major game changer, meta change.
The combos aren't there.
No.
Like I said, with the Reavers, they've got that grenade, but they come in 9 inches away, but they can't throw their grenade, so it's kind of like a pointless grenade. Because you're just going to go, oh, you're close, you failed your charge, yeah, die, dead. They need more combos, that's what we need, guys, is combos for them. Come down, 1 CP, throw your grenades 12 inches. Now they're useful, yeah? That's what you need, stuff like that.
You were saying about the what was it? The combos for chaos. There's the chaos stuff that comes out. There's loads of combos for it, isn't there? Yeah. That's what makes it really potent. They're talking about the AdMech stuff that you want to run. It's all about the combos.
Yeah, you need combos.
You need some more.
Yeah,
for the Marines.
The Reavers need 1 CP. Everyone fires a grenade or 2 CPs, whatever. When they deep strike in, 1 CP. Everyone fires a grenade 12 inches. Right. Yeah. Now you're not overwatching me. Cool. Now I'm going in with all them attacks. And maybe they get reroll charges or something. They need something like that. That there's loads of chapters that we haven't seen, Vigilist attachments for yet, so they'll be coming out most likely in White Dwarfs. We've got Yanari Index coming out soon in a White Dwarf. There might be a White Scars Index. Who knows? So loads of, and there's only one Repulsor and the Dreadnought at the moment. So there's probably going to be some more vehicles coming out. So we'll see what they can do. But yeah. Anyway, we've still got loads of questions left, guys. So Chris has said, what's the optimum technique for model movement during the charge and combat phase? Effective use of pilings and consolidations to wrap, etc. Chris, that I'm going to do on a video. I can't explain it, but I need to show you with models. And so on the Patreon, one of our tactical videos next month will be how to basically pile in wrap effectively with charging units. How you can tag multiple things when you deep strike in, where you should deep strike, how you should lay your models out, how far apart. When you charge, where you should move models to, what model needs to move first, and where and why. All that stuff I'll cover in a tactical video on Patreon. And it'll just be kind of exclusive to, obviously, the older Patreon. But as all questions are coming from there, you'll be able to get access to that anyway. So, no fear. It's coming. But it's a massive, that's going to be quite a lengthy video, really. Down Under Blunder said, I've been working on Deathwatch melee bubble with a watch captain, warlord armed with Bane bolts, relic, Castellan of the Black Vault. That's not the knight, by the way. I think that's something else. MC Bolter and Relic Blade. He's backed up with a Librarian, Might Heroes and Veiler Time. The squad I use is a veteran squad with Bike, Vanguard Vet, 2 Terminator Storm Shields and Hammers, Vet Sergeant with Power Fist, 5 veterans with Power Axes. I would love to know what you think of the bubble and if you would change it in any way. I'm having mixed results. I just think it's so many points, and you don't really have any survivability because they're just going to die in a swift breeze. Again, it's only going to take, I don't know, name a gun. You're playing against Tau, and they've got a Riptide. He's going to go, that unit is dead. Because it's all, 14 shots, hitting on 3s, re-rolling 1s or 2s, because of Callion, wounding on 3s. You're going to be taking saves of 4 ups or 5 ups because it's -2. The squad's going to die before it does anything. And the Watch Captain's just not that good to invest another Librarian spell on him, because it's now you're making he's now essentially a 250 point character, and he's not that good. You compare him with Might of Heroes versus Abaddon for 250 points, Abaddon wins every time. So it's just a lot of points investment, which is why you're getting mixed results, because when it goes off, because when someone doesn't know about it, because they'll just let it get in. But you play against a good player, goes, I need to kill that before it gets to me. Right, I'm going to kill that this turn. Or if you fail that 9-inch charge, if they deep strike in, you're not getting in. That's it, they're dead. So that's it's just not consistent. And if you're not getting consistent results, then you just can't rely on it. Unless you roll super hot and your opponent doesn't have a clue what they're doing. That's my thoughts anyway. But it's just a lot of points. And I'd like to see that spent elsewhere. And Stormbolters, you just can't go wrong with them. They're just incredible for what they do and how cheap they are. So Sam said, how do you play against Ynnari? I'm going to save that question until the new index is out, and then I'll do a Better the Meta video over on Patreon, how you beat Ynnari. So, going to have to wait for that one, unfortunately. But I want to cover it when it's right. Because I'll say whatever I say now is going to change in a few weeks' time. Would you agree, Mark? To wait?
Absolutely. I think that I'm loving this index release from White Dwarf. The Assassins was fantastic. People have been asking for the Ynnari Codex to come out. I'm really interested to see what happens when it is. Yeah. I'm loving this idea from GW to knock White Dwarf on the head weekly, go monthly, and actually put something meaningful in it. So, well done, lads. I think that's a really good idea.
Chris said, what are some techniques that can be employed to counter the updated Assassins? Played last night against all 4, didn't go well for me. Calexa shut down my Farseer and the Warlock down, managed to fail all cast rolls for the entire game. Again, if they've put a Calexis in the list, then your Farseer and Warlock need to be on a jet bike, so they've got the speed to get out of the bubble. The Farseer Doom is 24 inches, so you don't want to be within 18 inches. If you're within 18 inches, you've deployed wrong, or you've put the model in the wrong place. You might not be able to get Jinx off, but you can still get Protect off. So you can protect Shining Spears, you can protect Dark Reapers, you can protect whatever, right, that you need to. So just play around it. Just because you can do something doesn't mean you should do it. Do what you can do consistently and reliably again. So
I got a tip on that one, which is what I run my Farseer and Warlock as Beltan, so you can get the Spirit Stones of Aralathan relic for 1 CP, so that the the Warlock can get the reroll, plus also you can do Seer Council to give you +1, so it makes it -1 instead of -2.
Yep.
That'd help you. And like you say, if it's 24, keep back. You can throw... One of the things that you can do with that assassin is, I did at the Battlefield Birmingham, is I put some 3 Talos in melee against the assassin. I knew they were hitting on 6s. I knew they wouldn't kill him that turn, kill her. So I killed it using the 6s to hit in my opponent's turn, because I had the Vexator Mask from so I hit first. So that meant I couldn't be targeted. So actually, you can use it to your advantage, only hitting on 6s. You can tie a unit up with them for a couple of turns, and then either move out of combat or,
Mark's right. If they've dropped them down, not in their line, and towards you, to try and deny you in your deployment, wrap it with your best combat unit. Kill it in its turn, slingshot off the back of it. Great tactic, Mark. Love it. So, move on there. Rob said maybe... Oh, he's replied to Chris there. I think that's it, guys. That's it. That's all the questions. So, Mark, what's next? How do we wrap up?
Well, we got some suggestions for the guys for the next Ask VT?
People want chaos.
Okay.
So
I'm thinking we've got another Ask VT in 2 weeks. I'm thinking that we'll probably leave it about a month to give you time to digest that book really well.
I've got to write an army list, Mark, for chaos anyway, for someone who's a Patreon.
Okay. Well, in that case then, it looks like it'll be chaos in 2 weeks.
I'm going to know that chaos book inside out by the 4th of April. So the next Ask VT is going to be on the 11th of April. Put it in your diary, 7:30. It's going to be all things chaos.
Excellent. I've got a request. Anybody that watches this video, do us a massive favour. Click the thumbs up button and please subscribe to our channel. We'll be very grateful for that.
Yep.
The more subs we get, the more people. It's easier to get people on, interview them, etc., etc. We're hoping our target is really about 10,000, because at that point we might be able to get in touch with GW and get supported by them, so we could get things in advance. That would be wonderful. So if you've got any friends or anything like that, you say, check them out, do us a favour, subscribe to the channel. We'd be very, very grateful.
Yeah, guys. Look, if you want that content, like that video on how to beat knights, where I sort of go over things like move blocking, deployment, all that good stuff, you can just get that by heading over to our website, www.vanguardtactics.com, and just subscribe to the emails. It'll be the first one. So before you leave right now, do me one favour, give this video a big thumbs up. That would really help us. And it's been a pleasure to get to know you guys as well. We've got Robert in the chat, Matthew, Fifth Watch Captain, Jaquin, we've got Alex. Guys, thank you so much. So it's been an absolute pleasure.
Just got a message back from Joaquin the other day, who said today actually said that he loved the Blood Angels list that we put together for him. So if you're in Las Vegas, he's going to be tearing up the table soon and smashing you with that.
Yeah, literally.
Great stuff.
Yeah, love it. Well, guys, have a great evening, and we'll see you on the 11th of April.
Fantastic. Thanks, guys. See you later.
See you later.